everybody, this is Rebecca. I was wondering, have you been thinking about starting a podcast? Well, if you have, let me tell you, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast because it gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or your computer. The creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great, and they'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app today, or you can go to Anchor FM to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to
I have a strange story podcast.
So this is the podcast where two sisters retell people's strange and paranormal stories and experiences. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Rebecca.
And this is the podcast. And we are once again attempting to record videos. I don't think it's going to work. I have my reservations.
Mm-hmm.
I almost quit just a second ago because my phone won't stay up, but that's a different story. Anyways, this is a weird time.
Yeah, it is.
With the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to keep on bringing you stories to keep the, what is it called? Routine? Yeah, we're going to keep the routine up.
Yeah.
So today we're on episode 76. Rebecca, do you have any announcements?
I do have an announcement. We finally have a website, so you can tell all your friends to go there.
Yes. It's beautiful. Rebecca worked on it.
Yeah, it was easy. I used a template. So it is strangestorypodcast.org. And you can find a link to our show, to our latest episode, and just a little bio about the show. We'll probably add some more stuff to it later once we get more familiar with it and figure out what type of content I guess we want to put in there. I've never made a website before, so I'll probably just have to look at other people's websites and maybe see what I like. And
well, it's really good. It's beautiful. You did a really good
thanks.
job. You're welcome. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So yeah, go visit it. And I just also want to just kind of piggyback on what you said about the pandemic, and I just hope that all of our friends and all of our listeners and possibly our viewers are doing okay. Like that, I don't know. It just really hurts right now to think about it. So
yeah.
Hope y'all are all doing okay and staying inside and staying safe. So anyways, that's it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that's it then. Do we want to start telling stories?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I like that idea.
So I have a story from New York. Unique New York, unique New York, you know you need unique New York.
What was that?
It's a warm-up.
That's awesome.
That's what actors use. But they'll be like, unique New York, like, because they're getting everything warmed up and ready to go.
Oh.
Yeah, like, she sells seashells by the seashore. That
whole
whole thing.
I just can't. I'm terrible
Gets
with
you
those.
ready.
Yeah.
It gets you ready to go.
Okay.
Anyways, so this is in New York. It took place in about 2012, 2013. Let's see, this person was in a high school and they were at a party with their friends. So around 11 to 12 at night, they decided to go outside to have a cigarette. They immediately smelt something. It smelled fucking awful and foul. And they described it as being like a mixture of blood, vomit, pee, and death.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they went outside. That's what they smelled. And they're explaining that this party is like in the middle of nowhere, and they just assumed that it was a dead animal somewhere, which I think, that makes sense. And especially the mixture of everything that they talk about, all those fluids. I have a cat in here with me who just started licking the back of my arm. I don't know if you... Oh, okay.
I saw her.
She's out of here. Okay. She's camera shy. Did you see her back away?
Yeah, she's like, oh, no. You're recording?
Did you hear her? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So less than a minute after they got outside, they hear something moving around in the dark. And then they saw a deer come hobbling out of the woods to the very edge of the light of the porch where they're standing at. So they just see this deer that's in the very edge of the light. And it's a little difficult to see. And of course, everyone was like, oh, they thought it was so cute. It was a little baby deer that hobbled out to see them. But then they noticed something that's a little odd. One of its front legs was really messed up.
Aww.
And they said that it was broken in multiple places. And you know what this reminded me of? Do you remember whenever I found that kitten on my front porch and it had a broken jaw? And I was holding it and doing all this stuff. And then it just looked at me and its jaw just went and I was like, ah! It was fucking creepy. Anyways, so it was broken in multiple places. Its legs were, and they were a little freaked out, obviously. And they decide they're going to go inside. So they finish up their cigarette. And as they're about to go inside, they hear this loud pop. And that pop is actually one of the light bulbs from the outside light. So then that outside light where the deer had stopped, now it's all dark right there. Mm-hmm. And so they're a little freaked out. And they kind of do a fake scared squeal with each other, this person and their friend. And they turn around to go inside, and that's when they hear what's the undeniable sound of nails on concrete dragging. So they slowly turn around, and they see a hunched over rotten coyote that's moving very slow and very unnatural, crawling to them. Basically, they're paralyzed with fear. And they go to the front door. Their friends actually open the door and pull them back in. And they're like, hey, get back into the party. They're completely unaware of what was going on out here. And they said to this day, it's one of their most terrifying experiences. And they've never had or experienced anything like this again. So whenever I found this story, this person had suggested that maybe this was a Wendigo that they had encountered. And I don't think that this was a Wendigo. It sounds more to me like it was a skinwalker if it was changing into different animals. Mm-hmm. If it was a Wendigo, it would have, Wendigos don't look like different animals. They don't look like beasts. They typically have a human form, right? And then maybe a beast head, but they don't turn into different animals. And so my thoughts were that it was a Wendigo, especially because they're in New York, and they did mention they were near a reservation. So I'm curious if they got the two mixed up, possibly. Oh, touch my face. That's the thing. All I want to do is touch I wake up and I'm like,
oh my God.
All over my face all the time.
Totally me too. I can't stop.
It's bad. Can't stop, won't stop.
I'm going to die.
Anyway, so that was my very short story to share today. I don't think it was even 5 minutes.
That's okay. I think with Wendigos too, there's a lot of representation that they have horns. They have antlers. Yeah, that's what it is, not horns. And I don't think that is a traditional looking Wendigo. I think that is something that we just did as an aesthetic, I guess. But you're right. You're right. They are more human, thin, pale, kind of, and they are alluring creatures. So they will try to get you to go to them. They usually don't go to you.
They don't go to you, and they're very thin. They always look emaciated, unless they've just eaten a human, and so then they're kind of full. And they're usually gray in color. Very thin,
and they mimic.
Like
They mimic a noise or a voice.
Would have used the voice of a friend to lure them to come out and say hey, I'm hurt, come over here. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't use another animal to lure them. So I don't know the ethnicity or the cultural background of this person, so I'm not sure in regards to it being a skinwalker. But that was my only thoughts of what it could be.
Yeah. That's interesting. I
Yeah.
feel the same way, but I guess it also depends. It could have been like well, if it changes into animals, I don't think that necessarily that like dog men or dog creatures do that.
No,
Yeah.
they say dogs. Now I had to plug my
They are
phone in
dogs
because
for
that
life.
battery drained real fucking fast.
Okay.
We started at 50%, and as I was reading, it went down to 20, and I was like, okay, well, that's over.
Okay, well this isn't going to happen. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well cool story, dude. I liked it. Good thing getting out of there,
Yes.
kiddos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys my story.
Okay.
This story happened to this kiddo whenever they were very young. Just to give a little bit of background information about where they are located, they grew up in rural New Jersey, and they grew up in a house that was built by their parents on an old piece of farmland. So this is mostly revolves around the oldest kid, and at the time he was 4 years old. He got a surprise of a little baby brother, and we're gonna call this little baby brother Jake.
Okay.
And then 2 years later, they had another baby brother. We're gonna call this little baby brother Matt. And he says that nothing really weird happened up at this point. Everything was hunky dory until the little brother came along. But I think what actually triggered it was they decided to add on another room to this house. The parents wanted all of the kids to have their own room, so they added on another room, another bedroom, and then they also built another family room. So the extra bedroom that was being built actually turned out to be for the oldest son, the one who's telling the story. He got first dibs. He was so excited getting his own brand new bedroom. He moved into the bedroom whenever it was finished, and he said instantly he felt odd and uncomfortable. He always felt like something was only 2 inches away from him, standing behind him, staring at him, just giving him a creepy overall feeling. At night, he had to make a decision. Which way was he going to face? Was he going to face the wall? If he faced the wall, he felt like something's going to come up and creep up on me.
Absolutely not.
If he faced the bedroom, he might see something fucking creepy come up and get him. So
you better fucking see it. Keep your eyes on the prize.
I mean, Sophie's choice, right? Like, I don't know. Neither of those sound like good options. So he tried to tell his parents, and of course, his parents were like, dude, everything's fine. You need to just chill out. So he would try sleeping in his bedroom. And at one night, he heard something like fall on the floor. He woke up, he looked at it, and he said that he had seen a little figurine fall off of a shelf in his bedroom, then heard footsteps coming from that area to where he was sleeping. So he got the fuck out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
And he ended up sleeping on the floor of one of his brother's rooms for the next 3 months. And his parents kind of let it slide. Like, they were a little bit annoyed with it.
Yeah.
But they were like, okay, you're really afraid. We're going to let you deal with this. So they let him deal with that. They saw how scared he was. And during this time, his maternal grandmother came to visit them. And she actually slept in his bedroom. So little side note, his mom and his grandmother, maternal grandmother, they both believe in the paranormal. And so on the last night that grandma was in the bedroom, she spoke to her daughter, his mother, and he didn't hear about this until years later. But she had said this room is fucked up. There's something creepy in there, and I will never sleep in there ever again. She also said, and by the way, in your living room, I see a little black figure going up and down the stairs. Mom was like, yeah, I've seen that too. Mom also said she would be woken up in the middle of the night by some childlike figure standing next to her bedside. And it was not one of her own children. She also said this happened so often that she just decided to ignore it. And I'm like, gangster mom. Like, the shades go on right now, and like some type of rap music comes on for this woman right now, because like, how can you just be like, oh, it's you again? Oh, good night.
No, you can't. You can't.
No, especially a child. Mm-mm. What's creepier? Children.
Yeah.
So anyways, she just lived to, or learned to ignore it. And let's see. Sorry. So at this time, Jake, the tiny baby brother, also started having some issues too. He was terrified to go into the bathroom underneath the stairs because there was a man in the wall. And after a few years of this, things got a little bit better. The oldest son was able to sleep in his room. But then his parents started fighting, and there was a lot of anger in the house, a lot of yelling, just a lot of unstable energy. He said that he was lucky that he stayed with his mom most of the time, who moved out of the house. But on the weekends, he had to go visit his dad. And he dreaded going to his father's house because now the feeling of being watched and the creepiness was not isolated to that bedroom anymore. It was all over the house. And he was legitimately afraid to go back into the house. He said at this point he would see objects move on their own and things would start turning themselves on. And just for instance, this one night he was getting ready to go to bed. He said that he was about to go back upstairs where everybody was at, and then their VCR and their surround sound turned on and started playing Star Wars. I mean, that's kind of cool. I know. And he said that it started exactly where he had left off. I guess the last time he started seeing the movie.
Okay.
At 1.2, the record player started just randomly changed speeds from 33 RPMs, which is that rotation per minute, or is that?
I think so.
Okay.
It sounds right.
I guess it doesn't really matter. To 78 RPM, he said it sounded like the chipmunk version of whatever song that they were playing. And then one night, or I guess several nights in his bedroom, he had a Darth Vader lamp that would just turn itself on. He says that whatever this thing was must have liked Star Wars.
Shut up. What is the time period for this story? Do you know?
It was, I think he said like 12 or 14 years ago.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is timeless.
I guess. I just didn't think that they brought all that stuff back. But I guess I'm old and I forget how old I am.
Yeah, well, Star Wars, I mean, the first three, right? They came out probably around
70s.
that time. No.
1, 2, and 3. Episodes 1, 2, and 3, not 4, 5, 6. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Because we had to do a prequel for everything.
Yes.
But anyways, he said that the last scary thing that he remembered that happened in that house was he was in the shower, and he heard a sound that sounded just like a music box being on the other side of the curtain. Of course, he looked behind it and there was nothing there. He does say that things are better now. But after talking to his mother and his grandma had said that she felt that whatever was in that room was pure evil. Also, side note, his parents like to collect all sorts of like antique furniture and tools.
Oh, jeez, that's it. That's what did it.
Yeah, so we're thinking maybe haunted items, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They got all stirred up when the parents weren't getting along.
Yeah, that's another thing
came
too. Yeah, exactly. I remember being a kid and I think I inherited like a table from from my grandma or something like that, or maybe I bought it. I can't remember. It wasn't a stool, it was a table. It was a really odd fucking table too. It was like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
It had layers. It had like a top here, and then it had another shelf and it was round and it was really ugly, but I had a lot of shit whenever I was a kid, so I needed something to put my shit on.
From Grandma Gibson?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was from her. But I just, oh, hey, kitty. But I just remember having having nightmares as soon as I brought that piece of furniture into the room. And so I think I got rid of it. Because, and I do, it was so weird because I do remember the first night it being in there having a weird feeling like I was being watched.
Jesus.
Yeah. So there's definitely haunted items. Yeah.
Fuck them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we do talk about that, how spirits and ghosts and whatever can be attached to an object. Yeah. I have no doubt in my mind that something can be attached to something that, especially an antique, something that you guys or that your parents brought home that day. Mm-hmm. I have a weird thing about buying antiques too. I generally won't do it.
I used to really love the idea of antiques, but as I've gotten older, I'm like, no, thanks. I just buy it now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that kind of brings up to me a lot of weird haunted items. If you go on eBay and like type in haunted items, it is amazing. I kind of want to buy something haunted, but then again, I kind of don't. Because I think I would just neglect it. I'd think it's really cool for a little while and then neglect it, and then it'd probably be like, bitch.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
I'm gonna fuck up your house if you don't pay attention to me. So if you have a haunted item, let me know. Let us know what you experience and how you deal with that, I guess. I wanted to bring up Spirited Moon Antiques. Yes. She sells haunted items. I would trust her. She knows her shit. She tests everything. She's some type of clairvoyant. She has some kind of clair that enables her to kind of communicate with the spirits and shit like that. So she knows what she's doing. She's got a couple of dolls right now. If anybody takes a look at those,
dude. Okay.
Let us know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I drew a picture of a scary haunted doll.
Let me see. Yeah, that's a scary haunted doll.
Yeah, she's got one bloody finger.
Yeah. Remember all the stupid glass dolls our grandparents used to get for us?
Yeah. Well,
I had one that had red hair, number one. She had red hair and then like a velvet brown dress. And then I had another one that had real short hair and it was curly like Annie.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember that. I don't know what it is with old people and like fucking creepy ass horror dolls, because there was never a time in our life where we were like, baby dolls, I love them. We never played with them. I think I went through that phase. I did not. I never did.
I think I did. I think I was I have dolls.
I want to be a mom.
Because I did when I was
right younger. Now. Yeah. And but that's because you were a kid. Yeah, it's because you were a kid and you didn't realize, you thought you were perfect.
Yeah.
Never caused any trouble. Never ruined anybody's life. Okay, I'm just kidding. If people have kids out there, they probably aren't ruining your life, but maybe they are. And that's okay. And they're probably not. Anyways, might need to cut that part out. I don't know.
This is jokes. You're just being silly.
Just jokes.
I mean, the animals can ruin your life too. Take out fucking Wilson over here. Fucking dumb Wilson ruined my life.
Yeah.
She almost ruins my life.
Oh, she's real cool and she makes up for it. Then she tries to attack your ear.
Anyways, I guess we both kind of had short stories this time, but it's good.
We sure did.
This is our first time editing the video from being apart from each other, and so it'll make it a little bit easier, maybe. So thanks everybody for understanding.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's about it then.
Yeah, I think that's all. So I guess if you guys have stories that you'd like for us to read, we would be happy to. And please send them to ihaveastrangestorypodcast@gmail.com, or you can send them to a couple other places Rebecca's going to talk about.
Wow.
I know.
I mean, the one other place is our P.O. Box. So that would be P.O. Box 2292, Georgetown, Texas. That's GeorgeTown 78627. Subscribe, rate, and review us. If you give us a review, please give us a nice one. Take a snapshot of your review. Send us an email with your mailing address, and we will mail you some stickers. Visit our website. Tell me what you think about it. If there's anything else that you would like to see from it, more content, less content, more cats. Wilson's on there. If you'd like to know about Wilson, maybe we'll create a little bio about him.
Oh, man.
Because people seem to like Wilson a lot.
I know. I don't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Hi.
Well,
We're back.
Hello.
We're not done yet. This
Nope,
is a
we have
bonus feature for all you watching on YouTube.
Bonus. You can't even see my arms.
Yeah, we we became very young people doing that.
So we've come back to do some amateur card readings. Mm-hmm. Just for funsies.
Just for funsies.
Yeah, a disclaimer, I'm not good at this. I'm bad at this. But I'm going to do it for fun. For entertainment purposes, right? So Here's the deal. So I'm Lindsay from I Have a Strange Story podcast. And I will be doing tarot cards, and I'll be reading it for the listeners. And Becky has oracle cards. And I don't know what an oracle card is. I know that tarot cards, the way that I do it is I interpret what the card means. I'm not telling anybody's future or anything like that. It's just an interpretation of the cards and what it means for the person, like right now.
Right.
So that's what I'll be doing for the listeners. Do you want to talk about oracle cards?
Yeah, I guess I'll just talk a little bit about them. Oracle cards are a little bit less structured. There's less to be open to interpretation in a way. It's usually created by an artist or whoever, or a collaboration between an artist and probably a writer. And it's this person's own interpretation of whatever art that they put into it. So, like, for instance, I'm going to be using the Moon Phase Oracle deck. It's called Moonology. It's very beautiful. I love this deck very much. And it comes with a book. So with this, it's more it's more of what the description of the cards is. You can put your own interpretation into that too.
Yeah.
But there's more of a guidance, and I feel like tarot cards, it is more open to the interpretation to the reader. Mm-hmm. It's whatever kind of thoughts you're getting from that card and how you want to explain that, basically. Yeah.
And these, I have the Goliath tarot deck.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
I can't see it because I can't see the camera.
Yeah, I can see it.
That's what mine look like. Mine are all animals. They're pretty cool. Yeah. So I also have a book with mine that helps me as I start to like memorize the cards, but I haven't memorized them. So
Yeah.
But I'm just doing a basic card reading for the listeners. So the first card represents the past. The second card represents the present, and the last card represents the future. So again, this is all just based on interpretation. I'm pulling the cards for the listeners, and you can interpret it as you would like. I'm just going to be telling you kind of what the book is telling me. So I'm going to get started.
Yes.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the first card I pulled is the Shedding Snake card, which is... Wait, can you see it?
Very up close.
I don't understand how to show...
That's
okay,
good. That's
there
good.
you go.
Cool.
This is the card that I pulled, and it's actually a snake shedding its skin. It kind of looks like an X-ray. It's cool. And basically, this card is for the past, and it's to shed more light on the concept of death. Here we see this is the process of shedding skin in order to move forward in a space it once was. So like the death card, this card is looking at the simple truth of life, and it's the constant state of change, movement, and expansion. So possibly this is talking about in the past how people have overcome things, moved past things. I mean, metaphorically shed their skin and moved on to something different or new or better. So it's really kind of a positive card, in my opinion, because it's talking about change and growth. So for the listeners, that's what it's alluding to. But you may have a better understanding. Like I said, I'm very much a novice at this. Did you have anything you wanted to add? I'm nervous, so I'm just like, I just
it's
gonna
okay.
read. What is it?
I think you're...
I don't have anything else to say.
I think that you're doing fine.
Okay.
I think that it is a good reminder that, you're shedding your skin. You're taking off things that no longer serve you. It's something that doesn't fit you anymore, metaphorically, and you're coming out of this new, better, wipe away all the shitty stuff. You're leaving that behind.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that all of our lives have drastically changed. Globally, our fucking lives have all changed, right? Yeah. I don't take showers every day anymore. I don't wash my hair really ever. Like, my life has changed. I work from my bed. I eat in my bedroom. Like, We've left behind a life we once knew, and we're all in different fucking worlds right now, honestly.
Yeah, it's true.
So, I don't know. It's kind of cool. So, that's the past. Mm-hmm. So, my next card is the present. And this card is the Six of Cups. And it's this. You'll see two hippos. And this is a reunion and a celebration. The hippos are in a watering hole, which is full of life and energy, and you see lotus flowers around them. That represents peace, balance, and tranquility. So with this card, this is a card of childhood, nostalgia, love, and generosity. It's looking at you returning to happier times of your past. You were having a period of deep reflection and thinking fondly of the times that you were happy and felt love. It's telling you that basically no matter what you come up against in your future, you will rise to the occasion and overcome those difficult times. So I think that this is a good message too. Because I think that a lot of us are in positions, like I said, our lives have dramatically changed at this point due to the pandemic. And we are reflecting on our lives and past relationships or relationships you're currently in and how those have changed, or happier times. I mean, a lot of people are doing things with family where they're having like movie nights, game nights, all those types of things. So we're really moving back to we're shifting the way our relationships are and how we think about them. I mean, at least in my opinion, we are. So that's all I have to say about that card. Did you have anything that you wanted to add? Maybe, I don't know.
I think that is a very pointed card at the present that we're living in, just like you said. We are all reflecting on what do we really need, what's the most important right now, and it also is a time to think back of happier times. I don't know. I think that you did a great interpretation of that card. I think you said it, and yeah.
Okay. This is hard. Okay. So my next card is the future. And you have to take everything with a grain of salt. and really reflect on it and how this is applicable to you, or our nation or the world, however you want to think about it. But the last card is the Seven of Swords. And you see it's a snake eating an egg. So it's a giant snake that's stuck into a bird's nest. The snake watches and it waits for the birds to leave the eggs unattended, and then it sneaks in. It has a quick meal. So it's kind of about being a thief. And so what this card is really here for us is it's a reminder that in your consciousness what you have done and what you're aware of that could have pending consequences. You may question people around you if you feel that they are not telling you the whole story. And it indicates that you need to make eye contact with them, be direct, be aware, be open, and proceed with caution. And it's a reminder that you don't have to be a sneaky person or a cunning person, and that you can get what you want with the right amount of effort and authenticity. And I feel like the best way to really look at this now is moving forward. We don't know. I mean, the pandemic is heading all areas differently. And I just keep reflecting to the pandemic because that's really where everybody is right now, right? And so I think that this is kind of alluding to be a good person in this time. Take care of your friends and your neighbors to the best of your abilities. Don't use people. Don't take advantage of people.
Don't take more than you need.
Yeah, do the best that you can for yourself and others, and do it in a kind, gentle way. And just remember that not everybody is as fortunate, and keep that in mind moving forward, and try not to become that person, because if we all become those people, then it's going to get really bad, and we have to remain good, kind, gentle people. Yeah. So that's kind of what I think about that card. So that was my first greeting.
You did great.
To the world.
I think
I've
that
done
was
it for myself.
I think it was a very good message that you just sent.
Well, you're welcome. Mm-hmm. The first few times I did this for myself, I was very upset because I continued to pull the same card for myself, and I didn't want to face what that card was saying, which is really interesting, but I continued to fucking get it. So I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's fun stuff. But like I said, I'm not good at this stuff. Anyways,
no, you did great. You did great.
Let's move on to your cards.
Okay. So I did not pull these cards, so you're just gonna get it live. Okay. But I'm going to be working with the Moonology deck, and we're gonna do a waxing crescent moon pull, and I'm gonna pull 3 cards. And the waxing crescent moon right now that we're in currently kind of represents courage, moving forward, and faith. I think that's a pretty cool card pull for this point. And these are going to be a little bit different than as far as past, present, and future. This is going to have specific questions. So card 1 is going to be what's rising up in me between now and the full moon. So maybe something that you need to prepare for in a moment. So I'm just going to shuffle the deck. Whenever I do this, usually I wait till a card pops out at me. So this one kind of sticks out. And this is the end of a tough cycle approaches. This is full moon in Capricorn. I think that's a good card to see right now. And so that will answer the question, what's rising up in me between now and the full moon. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. There's the end of a tough cycle is approaching. I'm going to go to that. Here we go. I think I've gotten this card many times before. Release control and trust the universe. And then just kind of end things that in your life that aren't serving you, is what it kind of sounds like as well. This card is reminding you that effort is required. Work issues may be about to come to a head when this card comes up. If you're wondering if you should stay in a job or leave, this card can be a strong sign to make an exit. and the end of a rough time is in forecast. This card also asks you to consider how ambitious you are and whether you're prepared to pull out all the stops to make your professional dreams come true without being ruthless.
Okay.
There's a lot going on in that card.
Yeah.
Okay. So second card is going to be, what's my solution to the challenge that I face now?
Just taking a shower after you go poop and don't worry about toilet paper.
That's something that you can do.
That's one thing that we should talk about. Like, a lot of people are freaking out about toilet paper. Listen, we're all at home. If you poop and you don't have toilet paper, just get in the shower. Wash your butt.
It's true.
Yeah, it's going to be okay. Just wash your butt.
It's going to be fine. If you can't find toilet paper, also don't flush things down the toilet. That shouldn't be flushed. Yeah, if you have to wipe your ass with something else, put it in a bag and then throw it away outside.
What about washing that stuff? Can't you just wash it? If you have a sanitizer section on your washer, why not wash it?
You could do that, but you need to make sure that you follow you need to look into that, because there is a certain way that you have to sanitize that stuff. So like people with children, with babies that have reusable diapers, there is a certain way that you have to wash those, and you also probably have to have bleach, which is scarce right now.
Okay.
So anyways, second card I pulled is this one. It's full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negative energy. Oh, it's time to release negativity. So that's the card that I got right now. So this one says, what's the solution? So releasing some negativity in your life. Maybe just chill the fuck out while you're sitting at home not doing anything. Hard to do. I'm not going to deny that. And let me just see what the old booko says here. One moment. Here we go. If you've been feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop it. Worrying yourself is pointless. It's time to release any negativity you have around the situation you're asking about. If someone has been unkind to you, perhaps it's time for you to release them. This card heralds an emotional, intense time, since both the full moon and Scorpio themselves are both extremely intense. It's time for you to feel all your feelings. No better time than the present to do this right now. I have been holding back a lot. I tell you what, every single day I want to get up and cry. And the weekends are my only release, because I'm literally submerged in this, just like I think the rest of the world is right now. I submerge myself in what's going on, and I worry about everybody. I worry about resources. I worry about the animals. I worry about the people in living facilities, assisted living facilities, and I worry about the first responders, the nurses, the doctors, everybody. I feel like this is kind of speaking to me, because I want to fix it all. But there's just no way to do it. You can't. You have to let that shit go. So anyways, I'm going to cry on
video. The one time we record.
I know. Okay. Card 3 is, what is the advice? All right. I'm cool. I'm better now. I'm fine.
Okay.
Third card.
I'm fine. I'm not crying. I'm happy.
I just released it. I'm
happy.
Not crying. It's just been raining on my face.
I got that from TikTok. I recently joined TikTok.
Oh, was it that
when
little
all
kid?
This started? Yeah. I'm just crying.
I know, right? I'm just laughing. That poor child. Ooh, this is a great one. All right, so the third question, the advice: expect powerful change. New moon in eclipse. That's a cool card. I guess I could go I could go either way. Let's see what the book says. Expect powerful change. I'm making a lasagna. For what?
Oh my god, get off my butt. Oh my god, oh my god. I'm
Sorry.
sandwiched in by cats right now, by the way.
Oh my god. That's how I was last night with my dog. Well, I just don't think this card is in here.
You got this, girl. It's in there. You got this. It has to be
it's
in
right
there,
here. It's right here. I found it.
Yeah, I knew it.
Okay, if you want affirmation that you can achieve your dreams and get the desired outcome in the situation you're asking about, then this is it. This is a card of beginnings, and there are powerful energies at work, but be prepared. It could be quite a ride, and events now could even be jarring and uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That's true. However, any new directions you take will almost always lead somewhere better than where you are at the moment. Whatever is happening now is happening for a reason you'll appreciate later on. A new portal is opening up, and all you have to do is have the courage to forget about the past and move through it. You're being put back on the right path. There is nothing to fear. Well, that's kind of nice.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be okay.
Everything's going to get better. It has to. It must.
It has to. Yay.
Yeah, it must get better. Things will get better. And just keep being kind. Don't be greedy.
Yes.
And help people as best as you can by staying inside, not congregating. Obviously, you've all heard it before. We don't need to reiterate it, but like, you're not invincible either. So
yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
That's all, folks.
I'm sorry I cried.
Don't apologize.
Super emotional.
It's okay. Don't apologize.
Okay. Yeah, so thanks for joining us again. Hope you enjoyed this little bonus. Maybe we'll do more later if we have really short episodes. Lindsay's ready to go.
That is bye.
Bye.